rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. Well, it's kind of interesting, I open up the chat in Rumble. That's why you should go over to rumble.com and get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure you search up that American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time I go live, because I open up the chat. I try to open it up at least 15 minutes prior. Sometimes it's a lot more. Like tonight, I opened it about an hour early. Anyway, so at times my Rumblers, my Rumble Whiskey Warrior P1 crew, which, by the way, I'm actually considering dropping YouTube and Facebook because Facebook has been blocking me from responding to all the idiots that are out there that are basically morons. But anyway, I digress. As I was saying, we were sitting there and chatting in, the chats. The Whiskey Warrior P1s come in and they start chatting. And, well, my news is like, hey, I'm watching Stranger Things Season 4. And I responded back to her, and I was like, I'm watching Stranger Things too. It's called Current Events. Because we do have a whole bunch of Stranger Things going on around here. They are all over the place. I mentioned that we were going to get a lesson in constitutionality and a lesson in federalism and a lesson in all kinds of stuff. Yeah, that's getting set up. Let me tell you, it's getting seriously set up. We've got investigations, lawfare, and legislation that's being presented now for a bunch of the things that you see going on. So, yeah. Anyway. Oh, no. Coco, no, it's not Stranger Things Minnesota edition. It's Stranger Things America edition. Because there's Stranger Things going on all over the place. It's not just in Minnesota, although Minnesota does seem to be the epicenter. I got a suggestion for Minnesota. Maybe they ought to just go over to what's called the Purge. We should just lock Minneapolis down every night, or at least, I'm sorry, not every night, but at least one night of the month. We should just lock Minneapolis down and just say, okay, no ICE, no police. We're just going to pull all out, and you guys just go ahead and do whatever the hell you want to do. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway. There's stuff going on all over the place. Anyway, all right, folks, let's go ahead and get things kicked off here. Tonight's pledge is going to be done by none other than 3 Chevy, but 3 Chevy has decided to take an absence from the chat tonight. So, I don't know, he's watching some sports thing because 3 Chevy likes sports. I mean, seriously, come on. I'm better than sports, aren't I? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's go ahead and get things kicked off with 3 Chevy as he recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and of course, I thank you, 3 Chevy, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. You would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting or performing the pledge in your style. Then you take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file that you created, attach it to an email, and then address it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I will, of course, get you into the rotation. I've got 21 now. I need 22. My goal is to hit 26 at the end of 2026. I'm at 21. So the faster you can get that done, the better. It would be awesome. Anyway, head on over to, sorry, not head on over. What am I saying? Record yourself performing the pledge, and if you do it on your phone, take that audio, or take that share option, S-H-A-R-E, share option, and you can send it off to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I will get you into the rotation. I've got 21 right now, and I would like to get more. So 22 is next up. Get in. Get it in. 22. All right. For tonight's drink, nothing too special. Just Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace in the glass, but it is the American Perspective Frosted Glass. Yes, this is fantastic. Now, it looks a little funny because I had it in the freezer. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, this is a great gift from my Whiskey Warrior P1s, and, of course, there's the requisite stones because, of course, it takes stones to drink with whiskey, and so we'll get our first sip out of the way. Yes. There we go. Oh, my Whiskey Warrior P1's over on Rumble. See, this is why you need to go over to Rumble. These folks, I'm telling you, are clever. As clever as they are intelligent. So you share, C-H-E-R, your voice recording of the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah, okay. Anyway. All right, let's talk about tonight's headline sponsor. This is not the usual spiel, folks, but the Institute on the Constitution is our headline sponsor for tonight. The Institute on the Constitution was established in 2004 as a 501c3 nonprofit with one singular mission, and that is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. All courses and materials are developed using primary source documents and taught from the American view of law and government, as defined in the Declaration of Independence in the following three key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. And this is where I'm breaking from the normal script. Because of the fact, folks, that you have got to get over to the AmericanView.com. That's theamericanview.com. Or you can just go to IOTC.AmericanPerspective.online. Either way. And you will go to the IOTC's website, which I am displaying here on my screen. This in particular is the study or act portion talking about taking a class. I'm telling you, this is the easiest and most efficient way that you are going to get a class, okay? To get a class done. I'm telling you, you start your constitutional journey learning about it. They give you it is 100% free online course, okay? Or if you want, you can take an instructor-led class. They have classes for everybody, or actually do both. Take the regular course and then take the instructor-led course. Either way, or both ways, you can learn about the Constitution. And all it takes is for you to just go ahead and enter your name and your email, and you will get the first lesson delivered directly to your email box. It's 100% free. It's self-paced. It's 12 short lessons. The lessons are about 15 to 20 minutes long. They give you a video to watch to learn about it. It's fantastic. And if you really want to go and do a in-person course, they have them. There's one here in Newark, Delaware. There's also one going on in Lewis, Delaware, for now. But see, this is part of the reason why, because they want to offer more courses. They want to offer more courses all over the United States. And so after you do these kinds of courses and stuff, head on over and sign up yourself to be an instructor. Oh, that's the wrong page. Sign up yourself to become an instructor. This is part of the ACT portion. See, they have the Pray, Study, Act as your pathway. You pray every day, you study every day, and then you act on what you pray and study on. And this is what you need to do, is you need to head on over. If you want to help restore the constitutional republic, teach classes in your community. Seriously, you go and you can go and get they have 4 separate instructor levels. Okay, 4 of them. And you go and you purchase an instructor kit. You'll educate yourself, you'll equip yourself, and then you can schedule your class to get certified as an instructor. Now, they have certified instructor, platinum instructor, and chapter leader. All of this is something that you can do. Not only that, but you can also, you can do it in your spare time. You can be either a host or an instructor. You can do both. And you can help by all you have to do is submit your information. Seriously, submit your information. Find out what you can do. If you're willing to help them out, teaching or hosting a class, supply your information, and they'll get a hold of you, and they will enable students to contact you directly. You should really, really go and check this out. I'm just being serious. And once approved, your class will appear on the Take a Class page. So if you have a class, if you have an interest in doing this, I'm actually thinking about doing this. If you have an interest in doing this, okay, you should go find out. Get your instructor kit, get your certified instructor. You can become a certified instructor through their process. They even have a video right here on how to become an Institute on the Constitution instructor right here. They also have a video of 5 tips for a successful class. Seriously, go and check it out. Go to theamericanview.com, click on Study or Act. Act is the one where you become the instructor. Study is where you explore online classes, get course and student materials, so on and so forth. You go through the U.S. Constitution course first. So that's the first thing. That's your first step, which is all self-paced for you at home. Just go and get the self-paced constitutional course, the U.S. Constitution course. It's free. It's 100% free. They send it to you through your email, right directly to your email box. So go ahead and go do that today. And I'm telling you, man, this starts. We gotta get this country back on track, and this, I believe, is a very good way to do it. This definitely is a very good way to do it. So head on over to iotc.americanperspective.online today to sign up, and then don't forget to look through their other course material and information. Okay? Plus, you can also purchase the fabulous Saddleback leather-bound U.S. Constitution over there by going to constitution.americanperspective.online as well, or you can just look at their shop and find it. It is in the Legacy Library. A fantastic device. So, anyway, seriously, go and do it. I'm telling you. You should, especially if you're retired. If you're retired, man, what are you doing? I mean, go ahead and teach a Constitution course. Seriously, go and do that. Anyway, head on over to the IOTC's website, either at theamericanview.com, which is their main one, or you can get there by going to iotc.americanperspective.online, and you'll be presented with the same page. So there you go. All right. I thank them, by the way, for being a sponsor of this show. All right. It just became a sponsor of the show this year. I mean, yes, I've been hawking their products, but they finally made it official. They've made it official. All right, let's talk about something that happened. Here is some of the lawfare, which the left. Oh, wait. Whoa, hold the phone, people. I don't know if my unofficial producer is actually in. I don't know if my unofficial producer is actually in the in the chat right now, but man, whoa, I almost missed it. Everybody, we got to go over and hit the first segment of the show, which is On This Day in American History. Whew, sorry about that. I had to sneeze. And for On This Day in American History. Yeah, see, Nana, you stepped away for a minute and you freaking got me all off kilter. Anyway. You know, I've been doing this show for almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in April. And I still can't get it right. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead here. For On This Day in American History, we read from the American Patriots Almanac, which is written by William J. Bennett and John T.E. Cribb, chock full of all kinds of information and factoids about this great country. And as you can see, we started back over right here. Oh, I guess Becky mentioned it. Where did you mention it? Let me go back and see. Let's see. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. Where am I gonna find it? When did you mention it? Oh, yeah, you did. Although I wasn't quite sure what that actually was, because it seemed a little disjointed. But that's okay. You did. You did mention it. All right. Oh, somebody is apparently in love with somebody named Cassidy. Oh, Sean Cassidy? Really? He's still doing concerts? Oh, my God. Anyway, moving on back to where we were. On This Day in American History, we read from, you guys have got me all flustered and all over the place. There we go. We got to get the train in there. There we go. You know what? That's a two-horn. We're on double the tracks, off the tracks tonight. Anyway, tonight, this is what live TV is all about. Anyway, on this day in American history, we're going to be talking about a devil of a whipping. Ooh, this sounds kind of interesting. On January 17, 1781, Patriots under Brigadier General Daniel Morgan defeated a British force under Lieutenant Colonel Banastar Tarleton at the Battle of Cowpens in South Carolina, a crucial victory in the American Revolution. Morgan was a rough and tumble fellow. As a young man in Virginia, he had worked as a wagoner, driving supplies to settlers west of the Blue Ridge Mountains. During the French and Indian War, while driving wagons for the British, he managed to offend a British officer who struck him with the flat of his sword. Morgan responded by decking the officer and was sentenced to 500 lashes. In later years, he liked to say that the British miscounted and gave him only 499, and that they still owed him one. Interesting. This sounds like some kind of a badass. Anyway, during the Revolution, Morgan fought at Quebec and Saratoga. In 1780, he headed south to help fight the British in the Carolina backcountry. Tarleton, a brilliant commander, was determined to destroy Morgan's army. He once declared that these miserable Americans must be taught their places. The Americans viewed Tarleton as a butcher because his troops had been known to slaughter men who tried to surrender. When Morgan realized that Tarleton was on his trail, he sent word to local militia, meet at the Cowpens, a frontier pasturing ground. The night before the battle, the old wagoner moved among his troops, bucking them up and showing them the whipping scars on his back. By dawn, he had perhaps 1,500 men carefully placed on the field. Tarleton's fearsome dragoons charged straight into a trap. The Americans managed to surround the attackers, killing or capturing most of Tarleton's 1,050 men. Tarleton himself managed to escape, but the battle was a staggering blow to the British. A devil of a whipping, as Morgan put it, and helped turn the tide of the war. And that is on this day in American history. So there we go. Uh-oh. I've been called out. Becky says that I am nuts. And I'm nuts. I'm a squirrel. I'm like a squirrel. I got a nut to move your butt to the dance floor. Sorry. This show is already off the rails and just totally lost. Anyway. Let's see if I can get it back on track. The engineer needs to get back up here and get back on track. Anyway. So, Biden appointed judges. Here we go. Biden appointed judge issues a ruling, I think it was today or maybe yesterday, that was just, let's just say just freaking nuts. I mean, look, I understand these leftists want to get a victory. They really do. Because they're getting their butts whipped every time they turn around. Because somebody, i.e. Trump, is finally at the point where he is like, you know what? We're not taking any of this crap anymore. We're done. We're done out of this history. So anyway, this Biden-appointed judge apparently issued some sort of a ruling where now Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents are supposedly, quote, hamstrung on how they respond to the deranged leftist protesters who assault and harass and accelerate their vehicles into federal agents. Well, here's the thing, folks. This judge, because the lefties are all like, oh, yes, this is a victory for us. Except there's only one problem. This judge didn't really vocalize anything different than what was already in play. So, a federal judge yesterday barred federal agents in Minnesota from arresting peaceful protesters. They also, Judge Kate Menendez, also issued a ruling, 80-page ruling, that basically says, well, you know, you can't use non-lethal munitions or crowd control tools against peaceful protesters. Notice what I'm saying. Peaceful protesters. Her order bars Homeland Security and ICE officials involved in Operation Metro Surge from, quote, using pepper spray or similar non-lethal munitions and crowd dispersal tools against persons who are engaging in peaceful and unobstructive protest activity. The judge also prohibited federal agents from stopping vehicles from following them as long as, and see, this is the thing, as long as those vehicles are maintaining a safe and quote-unquote appropriate distance. So here's the first thing. What the hell is an appropriate distance? Okay. Secondly, notice how she phrases this. Okay. She phrases this that they can't use non-lethal munitions and crowd dispersal tools against persons who are engaging in, and I quote, peaceful and unobstructive protest activity. Now, let's be honest, because we are honest on this show. And let's be fully truthful, fully transparent. If you had a peaceful protest where you weren't doing anything to the ICE officers, you weren't throwing anything at them, You were just sitting there chanting, holding up a sign on the sidewalk, out of the way, not obstructing them in any way. Do you honestly believe that an ICE officer would go and fire a can of tear gas or something into the crowd? No. Because almost every time that I've seen officers, regardless of whether it's ICE or any other officers, engage with these things, it's usually long past the point where the protesters / rioters / idiots have taken matters into their own hands. So I'm just kind of wondering, hey, Judge, how is this any different than normal operating procedure? Because if you're not blocking ICE agents, if you're not blocking their ingress and egress to their buildings, if you are simply just sitting there or standing there peacefully yelling something like ICE, hey, hey, ho, ho, ICE has got to go, or something like that, and you're not interfering with their work, you're not calling them names, you're not spitting on them, which, by the way, is assault, you're not throwing anything at them, by the way, that's assault, you're not interfering with them doing their jobs, what reason would an ICE agent or any other police officer have to use gas or rubber munitions? See, this is why this is such a complete, utter stupid ruling. Because the leftists are sitting here thinking it's like, oh, now we can be even worse to do this. Yeah, by the way, this is only a temporary restraining order. So, keep in mind, none of this is really going to matter, because the minute that it's no longer peaceful, like, oh my gosh, if, let's just say, for an example, even if you were standing on the sidewalk yelling out, profanities like F ICE or whatever, but you're not doing anything else. You're just standing there yelling words, okay? Maybe you're flipping off the building, flipping off the agents as they're coming out or whatever. Even that doesn't qualify as breaking the law. And so all this is going to do, because these morons can't read, they don't have English comprehension skills, they can't understand what this actually means, which it doesn't mean anything, because it's already been put in place. I guarantee you, if all you did was stand on the corner of the building, not blocking any ingress or egress and not obstructing them in any way, not, doing, and yelled at them and called them names, or talked about, I don't know, anything else that you might can think about to yell at these people, I highly doubt they're going to fire anything at you, because you are standing there and you're peacefully, quote unquote, protesting. So yeah, overall, I think this is just ridiculous. I think all this is doing is just going to whip these idiots up into a frenzy, because they're going to be like, you assholes can't fire stuff at us. The key word for it is peaceful. They couldn't fire that stuff at you in the first place, because you would be exercising your First Amendment rights. Second item, peaceably assemble. Actually, the farthest at the very end. Peaceably assemble. You wouldn't be able to be fired upon at that point, because all you're doing is peaceably assembling. If you all stood around on a corner and just started praying, maybe you'd be praying for, their trucks or cars or whatever to have mechanical failures. They couldn't do anything to you in the first place. So I really, really, really don't understand. All of this is performative. This is just performative as far as that goes. I think it's a bunch of crap. And I think what it's designed to do, realistically, is to whip these people back up into a frenzy who are going to say, well, hey, we're peaceably protesting, man, as they're banging on the ICE trucks. vandalizing them or whatever. There's a peaceful protest, you know, that mostly peaceful, fiery, but mostly peaceful protests. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know where the hell this is going to go. It's bullshit. Sorry. Earmuffs for the kiddies. You know what? I need to I need to do a couple of things. I need to do something for like earmuffs for the kids. I need to do some kind of a stinger or a thing for that. Anyway, the FBI has announced, hey, if you know anything about the individuals that broke into the government vehicles in Minneapolis, if you know anything about those, okay, you could gain $100,000. You could get a $100,000 reward from the FBI. So they announced that they are offering a reward of up to $100,000 for information leading to the arrest and capture of any individuals who allegedly stole government property out of an FBI vehicle in Minneapolis. And this was in conjunction with announcing the arrest of that gangbanger. Anyway, that Latin Kings gang member. Well, now you can make money here. If you know anybody who was there who stole something or whatever out of the FBI, you could get up to $100,000. Yeah. So that might be a money-making opportunity for you leftist morons that, you know, don't want to run around and get a job. Anyway, so we all know, because I talked about it, we all know that Walz and Frey, whatever, the governor of Minnesota and the mayor of Minneapolis, we know that those two were going to be under investigation. Well, now it's broken out. The secret is out, according to CNN. Not that I necessarily follow CNN in any way or think that they actually have any kind of a scoop, but apparently, as of Friday evening, a grand jury has issued subpoenas now for both men as a part of the investigations that are out there. Now, CNN, of course, says it's a person familiar with the matter, which means that I keep getting corrected on Frey's pronunciation, F-R-E-Y. I keep getting corrected by my Whiskey Warrior P1 crew. Oh, you guys are great. Anyway, apparently, they have now had subpoenas. Now, neither office apparently has received any notice of the subpoenas yet, but hopefully that's coming because, that would be awesome. So now the DOJ, of course, has declined to comment on all of this. But that would be awesome if these people actually start getting perp walked. Just saying. So while Tim Walz sat there encouraging resistance in his message that he put out on Wednesday, Minnesota's Ice Watch, which was where Renee and Rebecca Good were a part of, apparently, they have now declared on their posts that time is ripe to embrace militancy. So, in other words, Ice Watch is now moved into, hey, we want you to actually start doing things more actively. And by the way, their posts guide encouraging escalation by, quote, any means necessary. And you think that's turning down the temperature, guys? No, that isn't. So they urge supporters to escalate their demands. Tim Walz, of course, came on and onto his statement and oh, Coco, you're such a kick in the pants. Anyway, Walz was encouraging residents to resist ICE, accusing the agency of carrying out a campaign of organized brutality. Now, of course, he has since, changed his tune. But all of this is just doing nothing but, kicking things off. So ICE Watch describes itself as an autonomous collective documenting and resisting against ICE, police, and all colonial militarized regimes. According to a shared Instagram post on Wednesday that was teaching agitators how to relay information on police and or fascist activity at demonstrations. The post read, "We, within the belly of this imperial beast, face a turning point. After 7 months during which our protests have utterly failed to slow the gears of the war machine, there is nothing left to do but escalate." And by the way, they emphasize that. They say time is ripe to embrace militancy on the ground, both to keep ourselves safer and as a demonstration of our commitment to the words by any means necessary. Now, folks, this is insurrection by all available definitions. So Minnesota is embracing insurrection now. So, yeah. Yeah. And Walz, of course, lied and said that ICE was running around and just plain grabbing Minnesotans and shoving them into unmarked vans, which is not true. Killing innocent people with no warning and no due process, which is also not true. He said, let's be very, very clear. This long ago stopped being a matter of immigration enforcement. Instead, it is a campaign of organized brutality against the people of Minnesota by our own federal government. That is not true. None of that is true. None of that is true. It's all lies. Every single one of it is lies. They're picking up criminals, targeted criminals, that are illegally here within this country and have either are broken the law inside our country or broken the law outside our country, and we know about it, and we're picking them up to get them off the streets, to make our streets safer. Because Tim Walz and his sycophantic idiot in the mayor, Frey, they are doing... they are doing insurrectionist acts. I'm serious. Go to Title 10, United States Code, Section 253, and read it. Because they refuse to enforce federal immigration law, okay, that is part of the Insurrection Act and a reason for Trump to go ahead and invoke the Insurrection Act. Well, guess what? I don't know what the hell Trump is thinking. He's got everything that he needs as of right now to be able to invoke the Insurrection Act and take things over. And I got to tell you, if this were Ronald Reagan, he probably would have done it about a week ago. But for some reason, Trump has decided that he's like, I don't need to invoke the Insurrection Act right now. I'm confused. Not that I'm necessarily wanting our government to go to war against a state, but seriously, Illinois, Minnesota, New York, Oregon, Washington, these are all states that are defying the federal government right now. They're not working with you to try and get these illegal aliens, which again... telling you folks, immigration is 100% and always has been 100% on the federal government to do. And that these states are supposed to be, by the Supremacy Clause and the Constitution, are supposed to be assisting with all of this and are supposed to be making sure that these criminals, when they are picked up for local crimes and local offenses, if they're found to be here illegally, are to be handed over to the federal government for deportation. These people are not doing this. And because of that, that deliberately is a reason to invoke the Insurrection Act. I don't know why Trump is doing this. He previously threatened to invoke it. But then he gets on he's on the White House lawn, and he was departing the White House. He was asked about it, and he's like, I believe it was Bush, the elder Bush, used it. And he claims that he used it like 28 times. He didn't. But anyway, he goes, it's been used a lot. And if I needed it, I'd use it. I don't think there's any reason right now to use it. But if I needed it, I'd use it. It's very powerful. Yeah. Why are you not? I'm just asking the question, Mr. President. Somebody said, oh, you're a Trump sycophant. You'll do whatever he says. No, not in this case. In this case, I'm questioning his thought process here. I mean, maybe he's backing off because Walz is backing off, but I'm just going to put this out there. If Walz, the Minneapolis PD, the Minnesota State Police, if none of those entities are actually doing anything to protect you and your agents, well, protect your agents in particular, in their operations, as they should, per the Constitution, then they basically, they just need to go. They need to go. Just get them in there. Now, apparently, historically, the Insurrection Act was last invoked in the 1992 Los Angeles riots, which began after 4 police officers were acquitted in the beating of Rodney King. And even some Republicans are resistant to the idea of using it. Senate Majority Leader John Thune seemed to downplay the threat, placing his hope in local law enforcement's ability to settle things down. Senator Thune, local law enforcement has been backing off and not helping and not doing their constitutionally required operations for years now. Why are we waiting here, people? Why? I mean, this, honestly, seriously, the minute that they declared that they were a sanctuary state and that they were not going to support deporting illegal aliens, that right there, you should have just said, oh, so in other words, you're planning on doing an insurrection because in the Constitution, the Supremacy Clause basically states this, and, I would have hit them with legal and been like, look, you guys are playing with fire here. You guys are playing with fire. Thune was like, hopefully the local officials working not only with law enforcement, ICE and other agencies, but also the local law enforcement officials will be able to settle things down. You want to know how to settle things down? Let me explain to you how to settle things down. These people, they need to get a lesson. Here's their lesson. You ever see this guy before? I know this is a loaded question. But you ever see this guy before? Who is he? Well, for those of you who are on the audio portion of the program, we are looking at a wonderful picture of one of the fantastic sheriffs that are down in Florida. His name is Sheriff Grady Judd. And let me tell you something. Sheriff Grady Judd knows how to handle the law. Sheriff Grady Judd knows how to handle protesters. Sheriff Grady Judd knows his constitutional duty. He knows what he is supposed to do. And he, along with 67 other county sheriffs in the entire state of Florida, back in February of 2025, signed up to get trained on the proper way to deport these people. Yes, he did. He signed up his entire force to get some streamlined training, and this is all the Florida sheriffs from all 67 counties in the state of Florida announced cooperation with ICE officials. What they did is they signed what's called a 287G agreement, which is a federal contract that allows state and local law enforcement to carry out certain tasks for immigration and customs enforcement. The Florida Sheriff's Association announced the milestone during a Monday news conference. This was Monday back in February. And by the way, the move is part of an effort to comply with sweeping immigration bill passed during a special session of the Florida legislature. Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd said, "It's Florida Sheriff's Association leading the way for the state of Florida, but we are also leading the way for the United States." Yeah. That's how you handle it. Right there, folks. You do your goddamn job. That's what you do. Sheriff Grady Judd, quote, "We do what's right, and we follow the law. And if you're here illegally, we're going to boot your butt out of this country." That's the kind of sheriff that I want. God, him and Tom Homan. Could you imagine the two of them being together? Yeah. So, that's how you take care of this. That's how you take care of this. And you just get it done. Anyway. Well, ICE apparently in Minnesota are getting a little sneakier. And now I sort of understand why there's signs going up in restaurants and stuff like that. They're basically saying, excuse me, basically saying, hey, we don't want you to serve you here. Because here's what happened. So ICE agents apparently, obviously the deportations are going to continue regardless of what the leftists, by the way, there was a bunch of like 30 people, 30 Democrat idiots from Congress all like descended on Minnesota and had some sort of a hearing to discuss how ICE was doing its job or whatever. Like the Democrats are really going to have anything necessarily capable of being able to do whatever with this. But anyway, I digress. Let me get back to the story. These federal agents go into a Mexican restaurant in Wilmar, Minnesota. Now, they go in there, they have lunch. They eat lunch. Well, while they're there, apparently they identified, 3 illegal aliens that were working in the restaurant. And so what do these ICE agents do? Well, they raid the frickin' restaurant. What do you expect? Now, they don't know, okay, just to be fair, the outlet, the Star Tribune, okay, the Star Tribune pointed out that it's not immediately clear what the immigration status of those who were detained was, or whether the people detained included the restaurant's owners or if it was just only workers. But an eyewitness described, and he, by the way, he declined to give his name for fear of retribution. I say he. It could have been a she or an they, them, or an it, or whatever. Anyway, this individual decided to decline their name, and they told the Minnesota Star Tribune that the 4 ICE agents sat in a booth for a meal at this restaurant a little bit before 3 p.m. Staff were frightened, and said the eyewitness, who shared pictures from the restaurant as well as a video of the arrest. Then the arrest happened around 8:30 p.m. near a Lutheran church and Wilmar Middle School as agents followed the workers after they closed up for the night. So, and then a handful of bystanders apparently blew whistles and shouted at agents as they detained the people. One of the bystanders apparently asked, would your mama be proud of you right now? I'm going to tell you, and if somebody were to say, hey, would your mama be proud of you right now for arresting an illegal alien? Oh, yes, she would. Oh, yeah, she would. I agree. Anyway. Anyway. Oh, these guys. Oh. Well, they got to resort to this stuff because you idiots are not giving them up. Well, as I was saying earlier, talking about New York and all that other, New York, Illinois, etc. Apparently, several Democrats in several states are now pushing to pass state measures. I really got to understand. I mean, I'm just sitting here. Really, these people, they need to be hit with the Supremacy Clause baseball bat because these people don't seem to understand how this works. So anyway, Democrats in several states are pushing for measures to limit how immigration and customs enforcement officers behave during their operations. Kathy Hochul, governor of New York, is backing a bill that would allow people to sue federal officials who violate their constitutional rights. Well, just like that judge that was before, guess what? Qualified immunity doesn't count if you can prove that your constitutional rights are violated. Except there's only one problem. If you're an illegal alien, you don't have constitutional rights anyway, because technically you're not here in the country. You're actually at the border, and you're not an American citizen, which is part of the reason why Immigration and Naturalization Act states that you can be searched without your authorization, without a warrant. That you can be arrested without a warrant. These people, they just don't seem to get it. They don't get it. Anyway. Hochul. Yeah. New Jersey lawmakers also passed 3 bills aimed at limiting cooperation with federal immigration authorities. Now, wait a minute. Now this is a bit of a problem. So now New Jersey is signing on to the insurrection clause. New Jersey is now signed into Title 10, United States Code 253, Section 253. So these bills, of course, are designating schools, courts, healthcare facilities, and churches as quote-unquote sensitive locations where people should not be deterred from seeking services. No, they can go and, again, schools, courts, healthcare facilities, churches, they're all open to the public, folks. They may not be public property necessarily, although schools and courts definitely are. But you can't just sit there and say, hey, if an ICE agent happens to walk into your facility and see somebody there, they have an obligation and the right to go and question that person. And not only that, but also to take them into custody until their identity can be confirmed. Which is, this is the part that I don't understand about all you idiots that are out there, these leftist lunatics. How is this any different than if or I should say a description of a criminal that was put out on an all-points bulletin for some crime. Doesn't matter what the crime is. And my description was put out on the APB, and I got stopped by the police. And they said, hey, we think you look like this criminal, and we need to know who you are. And if I refuse to give up my ID, then of course they're going to grab me. They're going to arrest me, or at least take me into custody until I can prove that I am who I am, that I'm not said criminal. How is this any different than what ICE is doing with these illegal aliens? The only difference is that unless I end up, because I am an American citizen, unless I end up being placed under arrest, okay, then I have the freedom to say, am I under arrest? If not, I am free to go. That is the way this works. But an illegal alien who can't prove who they are, can't prove that they're an American citizen or whatever, and even if I couldn't prove that I was an American citizen, I could get detained, collected, and sent until they can figure out who the hell I am. This is nothing unusual here, people. This is nothing really surprising in any way, shape, or form. I mean, this is crazy. Now, New Jersey continues with this, and of course they say that, hey, we've also got another bill. This other bill is going to prohibit state agencies from sharing sensitive personal data with federal immigration authorities and further restrict local assistance with ICE operations. Once again, I point to the Insurrection Act that basically says if you guys refuse, are unable or unwilling to enforce federal law, well, guess what? You're gone. You're under the Insurrection Act. You're doing something that is against the Supremacy Clause. And this is ridiculous. California also has passed already similar laws, and its lawmakers are advancing what they're calling the No Kings Act, which enables residents to sue federal officers for violating the First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment. Again, this is nothing unusual. You can already do that. If you have your rights violated as a American citizen, you absolutely can. Now, of course, Scott Wiener, who's a dick, and no, that isn't a play on words, because he is the one who wants to, boink young boys. Anyway, he said, quote, "This bill makes one simple principle real again. That is, no one is above the Constitution." Well, no one was above the Constitution in the first place anyway. But illegal aliens are not subject to the Constitution because they are not American citizens. What part of this do you people not understand? Straight up. Anyway, this is just ridiculous. And it's going to continue. But what's even worse, though, is that somebody seriously is going to get killed. And I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about somebody who's doing something necessarily stupid. I'm talking about just any old person who is minding their own business in the streets, gets pulled over or attacked by these anti-ICE idiots running around and doing all of this stuff willy-nilly. Somebody's going to get killed. Oh, wait. Somebody already has. That's right. In Minneapolis. Somebody has already been attacked. Not killed, but somebody's already been attacked. Have you ever heard of this guy by the name of Jake Long? So Jake Long apparently is a January 6th prisoner, or was a January 6th prisoner. And he also happens to be an anti-Islam activist. He's got a right to his opinion, right? Free speech. Correct? Yeah. So apparently, now this I don't necessarily agree with, but apparently he went to the steps of Minneapolis' City Hall, and he went there to protest the increasing Islamification of the United States. Now, he intended upon burning a Quran on the steps of the City Hall. Now, burning the Quran, okay, understand it. But again, that's one of those things. It's kind of like if you're burning the flag, which I'll be honest with you, legally, you can burn the flag without any problem. So legally, Lang should have been able to burn the Quran without a problem. But apparently, this isn't how the left works. See, the left wants to take my symbol of freedom, my flag, and burn it, which is totally disrespectful. And to be honest with you, yeah, somebody's probably going to take offense to that and do something. Same thing with getting the idea of burning a Quran. You know, especially in a place like Minneapolis where there's a lot of Muslims there. Okay, I get it. I don't defend what the guy was doing. But here's the problem. He has the right to do that in protest, or he has the right to protest. Well, a leftist activist dragged him into a mob and attacked him. They drug him into a mob and attacked him, stabbing him. He received apparently repeated blows to his neck and the back of his head, while another individual continuously threw an unknown liquid on him and the crowd. He was pulled from a ledge by the mob, who surrounded him and beat him in the head. And by the way, you got to understand, Muslims believe that anyone who criticizes Islam and Muslims should die. That's part of their doctrine. The same thing goes with their Quran. If you put their Quran on the floor, they go nuts. Because to them, that is a deeply religious tenet. You don't disgrace the Quran. Now, again, do I agree with what this guy was doing? No, not really. I mean, I think he could have done something different to protest them. But think about this. There was, and some people forget about this, but back in, I think it was the late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in there, there was a guy who did a cartoon. And part of the Islamic religion is if you blaspheme the image of Muhammad, their prophet. I had to think about that for a second. Their Muhammad, their prophet. If you blaspheme him, you can have a I think it's a fatwa that's ordered on you. So you're sitting here and you're telling me that, oh, no. As a protester, you can do pretty much whatever you want, including breaking windows, busting up cars, whatever you feel like, because that's a mostly peaceful protest. But yet this guy does the exact same thing, and he's almost killed for it. I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think this is video of the incident. There he is. He's in the crowd. He's holding his head. Some people are trying to get him out, but there's others who are beating him up. They hit him on the head with their flags. They're yelling at him. This is the problem that you have right now in this country. I mean, if you're going to protest, okay, if you're going to allow protesters to do whatever the hell they want, okay, and you're sitting here and you're going to allow them to do whatever they want, then why can't somebody who is not of the left do whatever the hell they want? Oh, wait a minute. Now I know, because the left is not tolerant. That's why. Yes, the left is not tolerant. See, people, you need to understand, if we're gonna have a system of laws, the laws apply equally to everybody. If we're gonna have a culture that comes in and does not allow our laws, because again, it was a peaceful protest. He wasn't engaging in anybody. He wasn't yelling at anybody. He wasn't attacking anybody. He wasn't attacking anything other than a Quran. These people are so freaking hypocritical, and they don't care. See, and that's part of the problem. You cannot have a conversation or even any kind of interaction with these people, because the minute that you offend them, oh my God, words of violence, now you're attacking me, and I can hit you back. I can even kill you without a problem. I mean, look at Charlie Kirk. They still are running around with Charlie Kirk. Oh, yeah, he was violent. Oh my gosh. All he did was debate people with facts. That's it. That's all he did. And they still believe, for whatever reason, that, oh yeah, that was totally acceptable, totally acceptable. It was also acceptable to, shoot at Donald Trump and kill 2 other people, but sure, yeah, that was totally acceptable. Folks, we don't have anything in common with these people. And if you sit here and honestly believe, and I'm even going so far as to say we don't have anything in common with the leftist lunatic morons in our Congress who are sitting here talking about this, because Ilhan Omar, as an example, she's like, oh, no. They're going around and they're taking American citizens off the streets. I don't think I've heard of one American citizen, really, that was taken off the street that wasn't discovered who they were and released right away. Which, again, would happen in any criminal investigation. If you don't identify yourself, or you can't identify yourself, you have no way of identifying yourself, yeah, you're going to be held until they can prove you are who you are. And then once they figure that out, if you are the person they are looking for, your ass is toast. If you're not, they'll release you with apologies. This is the problem that we have here in America. Now, what's worse, though, is that as Lang was leaving, attempting to get away from these people, he was again mobbed at his vehicle. Not one singular Minneapolis police officer was at this event. One individual, apparently according to video, attempted to drag Lang from the vehicle. The individual repeatedly kicked Lang as he attempted to close the door to escape. Here's what that kind of looked like.
Door!
Oh my God.
Drive!
Oh my God.
Just drive! Stop! Wait, let them go! Let them go! Hey, pull over! Hey, leave it!
Get out of here.
Leave it off!
Get out of here.
No!
Y'all just let him leave. It's not working. Hey!
We don't know him. Stop it. Let him out! Let him out!
Now, in case you can't see this, which you can't, but they're sitting there and they're trying to blocking him in. There's a guy holding a freaking axe. Oh my gosh. Or at least what looks like an axe. Oh, it looks like, I'm sorry. That was actually a cell phone, but it sure as hell looked like an axe. The guy's just trying to leave, and what are they doing? They're surrounding him, and they're trying to get him out of the car. They're blocking traffic all at the same time. Now, here they are, and they're trying to chase him down. What the hell? This is crazy. This is nuts. People, this is by definition an insurrection. This is domestic violence. This is domestic disturbance. People are getting killed. Why? Trump, why? And not a single MPD officer is even there. Not even a single MPD officer was even there. I mean, I'm sorry. I can't even imagine. I mean, now first, again, keep in mind, kind of following along with what I said about Renee Good. I mean, this guy went in and was in a place that he probably shouldn't have been. So as far as that goes, I mean, it was kind of stupid to do what he did. But he did it. But he wasn't attacking anybody. That's the difference. He didn't turn his car into a weapon. That's the difference. He wasn't interfering with police officers and police operations. That's the difference. And for all of you idiot morons that are out there that can't see that, well, you know, you're just idiot morons. Well, it goes beyond Minnesota because here in Washington, they are attempting to try and figure out, and again, this is Somalis as well, by the way. The Washington state auditor found that apparently there's been a lot of oversight and accountability gaps at what's called the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, because apparently there's a whole bunch of gaps in the data. Now, state officials, of course, Washington state officials, are sitting here insisting that there's no proven fraud, but the state auditor found a deeper problem. For 4 years, Washington actually was lacking the basic data needed to show where hundreds of millions of dollars actually went. Now, this is no real surprise to anybody that lives in Washington because our guy, Bob Ferguson, spent months, years even, suing the federal government and lost. And he spent all kinds of money going after the federal government for something that he never should have been doing. And here he is. He's got elected freaking governor because we have a bunch of idiots and morons here in the state of Washington. Anyway, State Auditor Pat McCarthy told Como News, that's a local news station, that the DCYF, which is the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, their lack of detailed provider data has repeatedly hampered audits. I put audits and idiots put together. Anyway, and left billions with a B in taxpayer-funded spending unverifiable. McCarthy told Como that they are probably the most risky of all the departments in state government. What? I mean, seriously. This is ridiculous, people. Billions. And you wonder why we're trillions in the hole at our federal government level, or we're billions in the hole at our state levels. Government cannot do what private entities can do much more efficient, much cheaper, and better. And yet all these sycophantic leftist idiots are doing is more government, more government, more government. Well, they're probably gaining the money anyway. Anyway. So, by the way, the auditor's comments come as her office was finalizing an audit of the Child Care and Development Fund, which is a $770 million federal program administered by the DCYF that paid subsidies to roughly 7,400 child care providers in the most recent fiscal year. The audit began before daycare funding allegations went viral nationwide, following fraud cases uncovered in Minnesota, and is expected to be completed in March. Now, according to McCarthy, the DCYF has remained a high-risk agency for years. She pointed to the findings of a fiscal 24 audit that questioned more than $400 million in federal program costs because the state failed to maintain documentation required under federal law. Now, I'm just going to put this very simple, very succinctly. This program, which is using federal government money, should never, ever, ever, ever have been implemented. It is unconstitutional. There is not one single element in Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution that would even remotely apply to this kind of a program. Now, if Washington State had decided to do this all on their own and had this problem, then yes, that's totally allowable. But the federal government and federal tax money should never have been allowed to go to these things. Never. Because it's not constitutional. Same thing with healthcare. Same thing with all of these other social programs that are out there. See, this is why we need people to educate everybody on the Constitution of the United States itself. One of the audit findings states that the DCYF's failure to keep adequate supporting records made it impossible for auditors to trace payments of federal dollars to individual providers. As a result, auditors said that they could not determine whether long-standing compliance problems had improved or worsened. Folks, seriously, I'm seriously done with this entire thing. These people, these Democrat idiots, should all be prosecuted for dereliction of duty, period. And by the way, anybody who has been doing this fraud, they need to go as well. In fact, there's a new act put in. Guy by the name of Emmer has, let's see, what is it? Tom Emmer from Minnesota. He's a Republican. This guy, man, I'll tell you, this guy's good. He put in, and it's slated to be introduced in the House, he put in the Stop Citizenship Abuse and Misrepresentation Act. It's known as the Scam Act. And it's going to allow to strip naturalized Americans, meaning people who have gone through the naturalization process, okay? It's going to allow them to strip their citizenship if they're convicted of fraud or other offenses. I'm on board with this. If you come here and you're a naturalized citizen, you become a naturalized citizen, and you're found to be guilty of, in my opinion, just about any felony crime, yeah, you lose your citizenship and you get out. You get sent back home. You get sent back wherever it is that you came from, because you obviously do not appreciate nor do you deserve the rights and privileges of being an American citizen. Okay? That's it. So the legislation itself is designed to create a path to denaturalize anyone who within 10 years of their naturalization is convicted of fraud against the government, found to have joined or affiliated with any foreign terrorist organization, or is convicted of an aggravated felony. Now, let me put it to you like this. They violate their sworn oath when they become a naturalized citizen if they associate with any foreign terrorist organization. See, their allegiance, and this is part of the reason why I'm saying birthright citizenship is not because you were born here. You must have an allegiance to the United States of America and its Constitution in order to be a citizen. Period. Full stop. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it should always be. And we're done with it. End of story. Yeah, I guess I am a little pissed. You know what? I am a little pissed. Let's just go ahead and do it. That's right. I'm too hot. I'm pissed off. This is ridiculous. Well, that's not the only bill that's being tossed around. The GOP has now advanced a ban on congressional stock trading. Guess what? Not a single freaking Democrat signed on. Not a single Democrat. So this is Brian Steele's, Steil, his Stop Insider Training Act passed the House Administration Committee without single Democrat support. Without a single Democrat support. And now it moves to the House floor. You got to wonder why. Why would these Democrats think that this is, we can't do this insider stock trading. We can't do any kind of stock trading. I mean, oh no, this is a bit of a problem. Do you maybe think that it could be due to something like, I don't know, Nancy Pelosi getting rich? Well, they can't really go after Nancy much anymore. But the House and the feds are probing to try and figure out where the hell Ilhan Omar's money, skyrocketing wealth, came from. That's right. The House Oversight Committee is probing into Ilhan Omar's skyrocketing family wealth after $9 billion disappeared from her district. That's right. That $9 billion social service fraud scandal, all the Somalis. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Yep. This is the New York Post. Oversight panel chairman James Comer said that staff lawyers are exploring the extraordinary step of subpoenaing Omar's spouse over his allegedly shady business practices. They said, we're going to get answers, whether it's through the Ethics Committee or the Oversight Committee. One of the two, he told the Post. Yeah. Republicans want to know where the hell she got all of her money and where her husband, politically connected husband, went from nearly broke to being worth up to $30 million in just a single year, according to her 2024 disclosure forms. I think they need to look at AOC. They need to look at Schumer. They need to look at all of these other people. Because Comer says there's a lot of questions about how her husband accumulated so much wealth over the past 2 years. He goes, it's not possible. Comer said, I'm a money guy. It's not possible. So, there you go. Well, has anybody watched the show Landman? And I got to tell you, I do. I mean, I do. This is one of the shows that my wife and I are trying to watch. My wife and I try to watch shows that both of us can get into so that we kind of have something, at night when we're trying to wind down. We're not quite ready to go to bed, that kind of thing. And we're kind of like, okay, well, just try and maybe while we're eating dinner or possibly, having snacks, drinking wine, something like that, right? Well, Landman has a few, shall we say, unwoke moments. For an example, you'll recall, I don't know, about a month or two ago, I played a clip where the main character, played by Billy Bob Thornton, went ahead and was saying bad things. Well, they think it's bad things, but true things about The View. Well, now Landman is back in hot water. And the reason being is because one of the characters, the daughter of Billy Bob Thornton's character, and actress Michelle Randolph, they had a part where she goes to college. The character's name is Ainsley Norris. And, well, Ainsley ends up getting a, shall we say, a roommate? Because when you go off to college, okay, you go off to college and you're assigned a roommate. You're in the dorms and you're assigned a roommate. Well, apparently this new episode of Landman kind of hits this head on. And, well, let's just take a quick look.
So what are your pronouns?
My pronoun?
I hope that's pretty clear.
Yeah, I don't make assumptions. You could identify as a sunflower.
You know, I've been told I look like one.
I use they, them.
You know, I've always been curious. Why they, them? Because there's just one of you, and those are plural pronouns. Just never really understood the hoopla of pronouns. My name's Ainsley, and I just can't really come up with a reason why you would address me in third person in a conversation that I'm a part of. So if you do, I'm probably not there. So I wouldn't really know what pronouns you're using anyways. So why would it matter?
Yeah. You know, the left and their whole sycophantic crap is going to get a big reality check. Oh, you know, I got to tell you, when I see clips like this, now granted, I haven't seen this episode yet. But she apparently is catching all kinds of stuff about it. Which, you know, let's be honest, that's a good question. I mean, why? Why would you call yourself a they, them if you're not, like, more? So, yeah. Anyway, in another episode, apparently from the clip, Randolph's landman character, again, Ainsley, explains her views during a conversation with the school counselor. The school counselor asserts that using a plural pronoun for one person is just kind of incorrect, is what she says. Says who? The counselor asked, and Ainsley replies, well, the English language. I gotta tell you, after having all of this leftist woke crap shoved down my throat, because I've actually walked away from shows when they start pushing this BS. I walk away from it. And I'm sitting here looking at this and I'm going, man, this is one that I probably won't walk away from depending upon how they handle this. I've walked away from shows that I've enjoyed. And I've walked away from this. I've walked away from shows. I've shut things off. Yeah. Well, apparently she's now under attack. And, yeah. So, I thought the left was so inclusive and so open and everything else. Now, keep in mind, the guy that's writing this is Taylor Sheridan. Now, for those of you who think, you know, Sam Elliott kind of rides the fence oftentimes. He doesn't really go left or right. He just sort of lines or rides the fence. But, yeah, it's, anyway. Taylor Sheridan is writing it, so whatever. I can't understand it. It's just so ridiculous. All right, last couple of things here. Apparently, we're headed for another shutdown, according to Democrat House Whip Clark. And they're going to try and shut down the government over ICE. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to try and shut down the government here coming up over ICE. Clark said, we've had one approach around these government budgets, and that is to negotiate and imploring our Republican colleagues to come to the table and negotiate with us. You know what? I would love to go to that negotiation, and I'm telling you, I would love to go to that negotiation, and I would love to slap this book, the Constitution of the United States, down on the table and go, explain to me where all of your budgets, anything in this budget, I don't care if it's left, right, across, or hold, all of your budgets, explain to me where in them they show up under Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution. And then we can discuss funding it. Otherwise, cut it out. Cut it out of the bill. This is so ridiculous. And they're going to do it all over again. And I don't think it did a very good job for them last time, and I really don't think it's going to do a very good job for them this time, although they seem to think that everybody is on board with the whole idea of abolishing ICE. And I think they're in for a surprise about all that. All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure that you search up the American Perspective channel on Rumble in order to get notified every time that I go live. Hit that green follow button in order to get notified. Also, too, before you take off, please hit your thumbs up, thumbs down, or, of course, the thumb sideways if you're 3 Chevy. He's already done it. Across all of my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, or, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. Have a great rest of your weekend. We will see you on Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. And good night, everybody.